You guys, bread is food for the soul. I tell you, this is so, so good. Hint of rosemary, that nice little hint of, the flaked salt on top. You don't even, you barely taste the garlic, but it does add an element of something. So if you haven't tried making focaccia bread, give it a try. Hey, hi, I'm Amy Roloff, and I'm in my little kitchen. I am doing something that is pretty much out of my comfort zone right now because I'm dealing with yeast. We are going to make a focaccia bread because I am meeting up. Chris has been playing poker with these guys, gosh, for a long, long time. 35 years maybe. Anyway, we are planning, or they're planning a trip. I'm going along for the ride, but they're planning a trip to go to Italy this fall. And so the wives and all of us are getting together as the guys play poker. And so when the wives are getting together, we're having an Italian theme kind of get together just to start planning, getting prepped for our Italy trip, because us women are going to go by ourselves for a few days while like guys are out there doing poker and sightseeing or whatever. And then we're all going to come together about 3 days later. So anyway, I said I'd make focaccia bread. So yeast, I don't consider exactly my friend. So we will see how this goes, because if not, I'm running out to the grocery store to pick up something. So I'm hoping this really works. So I'm making like a double batch because I wanted to, and I'll probably have more than this, I don't know. But I'm putting them in 2 9-inch like cake pans, pie pans. And because I wanted it more of that circle kind. And so I got my bowl here. We have our yeast here. So I'm hoping that by putting it in this bowl, we don't totally chill out the water. So I already have my sugar mixed in here. This is about 2 2/3 cup of water. I have 4 teaspoons of sugar, I think, and 2 packets of yeast, 1 1/2 cup of olive oil, a little bit of salt, and 7 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, and I just have 1 clove minced in here. So I'm gonna put this in here because this is where, we're gonna proof or let our first rise of our dough. And I looked on several recipes on online, and so I kind of came up with a little bit of combination because they were all pretty much the same. When you're dealing with, I think, what I found out, when you're really dealing with a moisture or a wet to your dry, baking's more of a science. So just learning how to vary those amounts and incorporate flavor or other items, to me, is the big part. Okay, let's see if this is. Okay, this is just a degree shy. So I'm just gonna place this in the oven so I can get it anywhere between 110 and 112. Because people, I wanna be so exact. I'm just gonna put that in the oven for a moment because I think I find my kitchen kind of on the cooler side. And so I looked up online to see, can you do that first rise in an oven? So preheat your oven to about 200 degrees, and when it reaches that, then you can turn it off and you'll be all okay, because the warmth of the oven will help the bread rise. So I'm gonna do it that way because I have found, I don't know, my kitchen is a little cool. So we're gonna do that. So anyway, we're gonna wait till that heats up just a little bit. And in the meantime, let me get an apron on. Okay, I finally got the temperature, the water temperature to what I think it needs to be. I remember my daughter Molly, because she would be so good at this, telling me that the water should be about 110 and 112 degrees. And that's really what most of the recipes I have found have set their water at. So I already got the sugar in here, it's dissolved. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of yeast on here. And we're gonna get it, hopefully, foamy. I'm gonna stir this around just a little bit. And we'll see what happens. This takes about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll bring you on over here. You guys don't know how excited I will be. So about 5 to 10 minutes, this should foam up. How excited I will be if this turns out. Okay, I think my yeast, I hope this is what it's supposed to look like. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but it definitely has foamed up. So let's give this a try. Okay, here we go. No, you can go, babe. Chris is getting ready to go over there for poker as I get ready to make this focaccia bread for us ladies. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and put in the 4 tablespoons of salt into the flour, because I'm afraid I'll have clumps of salt maybe, or something that won't be incorporated. We'll see if that's okay. So anyway, I add in, I'm gonna lift this up because this is gonna be hectic. I'm gonna add in the 7 cups of flour. And then I've got the dough hook on my mixer to kind of help me knead it and mix it all together. To tell you the truth, I think I've done this. I'm not sure if I've done this by hand more than using this, so. You know, that's what I think baking and cooking is. Experimentation, having fun, it's an adventure. I'm just gonna kind of put all that in. Put that aside. I'm gonna give this a little stir. Then I'm gonna add in my oil. So like I said, I have about 1/2 cup of oil. Here we go. Just drizzle a little bit in at a time. And I even have a little bit of flour here, just in case, if this is really too sticky, I might need just a little dusting. I'm definitely gonna have to try and get another iPhone or something if I'm gonna do this by myself. See, look at this. And let me turn it back on. Oops. So I'm gonna test it right now, see if it's really too sticky to handle. Just maybe give a dusting of flour. Woo! Okay, I'm just gonna give this just a dusting of flour. I do not wanna incorporate more than I need to. Just so it's not so sticky to handle. Okay, I think that's about enough. So here we go. Just gonna get it off of here. Get it off my dough hook. Here's my dough. Just gonna dust my hands with flour. I'm gonna get a stool because this thing is up too high. And I'm just gonna kind of put it in a little bit of a mound. Oh, darn it. I hope it's not too sticky here. I'm going to turn off my oven. You know what I forgot to do that I wanted to do? I wanted to make this little bit of garlic. So maybe, okay, maybe I'll just put that on top when I put the olive oil and stuff. I want you guys to take a look as to what it is right now before it poofs up. And so I'm hoping, oh dear. I'm just gonna cover this a little bit and I'm gonna stick it in the oven. I'm gonna let it rise. This is the first rise. I'm gonna let it rise for about 45, maybe to an hour to see if it doubles in size. We hope. And the reason if I'm putting it in the oven because I find that my kitchen is kind of cold, and so you won't have, you know, the flour and the yeast and everything in this nice little cozy warmth to let it rise, to let that yeast work. And so I read online if that's what I can do. Even putting it next to the oven, it doesn't really help. And so I've got the oven turned off. I don't keep it at 200. I have it definitely turned off because we don't want the bread to cook yet. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna clean up this mess, prepare this counter to roll out the dough, form it into little circles because I'm gonna cut this dough in half, form it into 2 little circles and put it in these large 9-inch cake tins, and hopefully I won't need a third one because I'm not sure if I have too much dough left over. But anyway, focaccia bread, giving it a try. We'll see what happens. Okay, I just took the dough out of the oven and I don't want to get too excited because I missed one little step, but look at that. It has doubled in size. I am so excited. But the step that I missed was after I got done kneading the dough in the mixer and everything, I just kept it in here where I should have brought it out of this and formed it into a dough and then just kind of oiled the, you know, this container, or put it in a whole brand new bowl and oiled it and then let it rise in there with a towel over it. So I'm hoping this won't stick too much and all will be well, I hope. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Where's my cutter thing? Because I gotta cut this in half. Just wipe that off here. So anyway, I'm still hoping. There's still hope. We're like 75% there. So we're gonna put it on this floured surface here and I'll cut it in half, form my dough, and then let it rise for another 20 minutes. Okay, let's see here. Just gonna kind of help it along because this is why you should oil, because I'm kind of stretching the dough, which I think is not good here. That's what I mean. Baking is precise. So we're just gonna put that over here. Ugh. Get a little flour on my hands so it's not so sticky. And because I doubled this, I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to roll each one. I'm going to roll each one to fit one of these pans. And you can roll it thinner if you want, depending on your size. But I think this will be just nice, just like this. You can see here. Oh yeah, I'll scoot it in there. Like I said, I might have a little more dough than I need because I doubled it, but I wasn't sure what kind of size it would turn out to be. In fact, I'm gonna move this stuff here. Get a little more flour. Let me see here. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you guys can see that. I'm gonna kind of roll this out into a circle. It's a little odd shape here. Oh, you guys, I am so excited. We're gonna let this rise again, and I'm hoping it doesn't stick. There we go. And I would have to say it's definitely about an inch. Inch thick. I'm gonna just add some flour on here so it doesn't stick to the counter here. Yeah, okay. Let's see about this one. I think I'm okay here. Okay. I'm gonna let this rise for another 20 minutes. Then we're gonna put it in the pan that we're gonna bake it in. That's where I get to punch the holes. And then I'm going to drizzle the focaccia bread with a little bit of olive oil. I'm just gonna sprinkle maybe just a little bit of garlic in all of the holes on each of the bread. And then I'm gonna put in the rosemary. So, okay. Hopefully this will be good. So here we go. I'm gonna get down there, see? Yeah, I think it's good. Hopefully I rolled it enough. Got some bubbles in here. Okay. All right. Oops, little ripples. Well, I wanted to get those little ripples out. Okay, as the dough rests for another 20 minutes, I'm just gonna cover it and let it continue to rise. Let's hope for the best. Okay, we're back. This is the second rise. It's been about 20 minutes. I think it's puffed up just a little bit, but not too much. So I'm going to try and get it in this pan as best I can. A little dusting of flour just in case. Hope this comes out okay. Oh. I'm gonna kind of get it out in the open here. push it around the sides, and I did lightly butter this. Okay, there we go. Hopefully this will all work, you guys. Okay. Now I'm gonna put it in one of these. Get all this out of the way. Oh, you know what? I should have done this on parchment paper. It would have been easier to lift up. Okay. Just gonna kind of push it. Trying not to pull it because that just stretches out the dough and that's not good. Kind of makes for tough. Okay. Okay, I think, oh, phew. Phew. So I got it in the pan. Now I get to poke holes. I think that's about enough. You think? Think that's about enough? Just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil. Hopefully I didn't do too much. Then I'm just gonna sprinkle just a little bit of rosemary. Here's a clump, I don't want a clump. That's probably about enough. Just want a hint of rosemary. You don't want it to totally be rosemary. Okay, put that all back in there. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of garlic in here. I think it's too hard to get it specifically in the little holes. Unless I had a little bit on each finger, I suppose I could have done that. Okay, and a little bit of salt. And this is kind of coarser sea salt. I don't have really big flakes. Okay, that's enough. Okay, got a little bit too much over there. I suppose that's why flake is better, because you can really control how much salt you're doing. Okay, here's my focaccia bread. I think I better take a picture of this. In fact, I probably should have taken a picture of each dough rise. Sorry about that. But anyway, here's a picture of the focaccia bread before it goes in the oven. Let me bring you over here. Look at that. I don't know, it's looking good so far. So far, so good. We're about 3/4 of the way through. We're not quite to the finish line. I will tell you this. Well, let me get these in the oven first and I'll tell you. Okay, I'm gonna bake the focaccia bread for about 20 minutes until it has a light golden on top, and then you'll know that it should be pretty much done. I think the thing that I learned here is that my kitchen is kind of cold, on the colder side. And so I was really glad I found that information online where Set your oven to about 200 degrees, and just before you're kind of ready to put in the dough to rise, immediately turn it off, then put your bread in, and that will create enough warmth as if you were to have it in your house, I guess, to create that very good first rise. And the other thing I learned was definitely make sure you have your water temperature at 110 and 112, because if it's too hot, then it kills the yeast. If it's too low, then the yeast doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna clean up now, get ready to go to gather with the ladies and plan for the Italy trip. So exciting. We're going to the Tuscany area. I've never been to Tuscany, so I'm really excited just to see a little bit of that. And yeah, because I've been to Florence, Rome, Venice, maybe some other little parts, but I've never been to Tuscany, so I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, 20 minutes, I'll see you back here. Okay, this is the big test. The focaccia bread is done, and I hope it turned out well. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Do you think it turned out well? I think so. And this one here. You can kind of see the holes that I poked in. I'm gonna leave this oven door open so the fan stops, the heat gets out, and all that other stuff. But oh yeah. I know this won't be exactly warm when I go over to one of the women that I'm gathering with over at their house, all of us, but I still think it's gonna be good. Just gonna let it cool for a little bit. But if you'd like, just drizzle a little more olive oil over it. Kind of let it soak in a little bit. I think I gotta get myself another olive oil container. One for when I, saute and roast and all that stuff. Besides this one, I like it because when you serve the bread, a little bit of sea salt, balsamic, and olive oil, this is what this container is for, but I just want one. I think that's enough. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I'm so excited for this. Let me get a plate here. I'm gonna go ahead and serve it on these plates. These plates I may be able to wrap because I have no foil. I don't know what happened to my foil. Let me find the other plate like that. Lo and behold, it's in my clean dishwasher. I really like these plates. I don't know, they just look a little rustic to me and stuff. So, I think the biggest thing is, will this come out? I'm just going to use this to kind of, yeah, I think it'll come out. It's not sticking to the side. I'm hoping it's not sticking to the bottom. I'm going to move this so I have a place to kind of cut. Put my hot pads out, I guess. Other way. Oops, dropped the spoon. Okay, this is my cutting board that I cut the garlic on. So, I'm going to use it to kind of cut this bread. I hope it turned out okay. I cooked it as long as, typically, depending on your oven. Where's my cutter? Oh, here it is. Okay, you know what? I may use a pizza cutter. You know, that's what I'm going to use. I guess you could use a knife. Okay, you guys. So far, so good. But I've got to be on the road here in about 10 minutes. Okay. Oh, look at that, you guys. Look at the steam come out. I hope I cooked it enough. Felt done. I'd probably give it another 5 minutes, tell you the truth. Of course, I hope I'm not getting my shirt all flour. Well, if people want to cut this again, they probably could with a different knife. Oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to take some pictures, and you are my camera. So I'll get back to finish cutting this up. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I should really get out my 35 millimeter, but look at that. Doesn't that look good? And then we got this one over here. See, I think this part, I don't know, it probably could have used, unless I kneaded the dough or stretched it out a little bit. Then we got this plate over here. So yeah, I don't know, you guys. I think it's looking good, but I'm gonna have a taste. Okay, here's the bread. Let me cut up this half. It feels so light and fluffy. So I guess that's a good thing, huh? Yeah, I think I should have probably cooked it just a little bit longer. I'm gonna slice off this little piece for me. Because come on, I gotta have a taste. Okay. There we go. Okay, there's one thing done. Let me get an, oh. Let me test this. Yeah, this looks good too. Okay, I'm gonna use the butter. Just a little bit of butter. But you know what? I'm gonna taste it without butter. Okay. In my oven, I probably should have let this go till about 25 to 30 minutes. It's great. It definitely tastes like a roll, maybe not as dry like bread, but I probably could have cooked it a little bit longer. But other than that, I'm gonna do this again. I love this. Now that I know it's okay to put your first rise into your oven with it just being a little bit warm. You guys, bread is food for the soul. I tell you, this is so, so good. Hint of rosemary, that nice little hint of, you know, the flaked salt on top. You don't even, you barely taste the garlic, but it does add an element of something. So if you haven't tried making focaccia bread, give it a try. I love this recipe with the combination of the stuff that I've done. I love this recipe. And so yeah, follow me. Go to amyroloffslittlekitchen.com or my YouTube channel. You'll be able to find this recipe and all of the others that I've done. And so yeah, I'd really appreciate it. So I'm gonna head on over to my friend's house and we're gonna enjoy some girl time planned for our Italy trip. I'm so, so excited. So till next time, from my kitchen to yours, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. Enjoy.